What up, bros? This is the All Bros Podcast. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are a couple of aspiring filmmakers that love to watch and critique movies, but also enjoy a bit of the nerd life. This week on the podcast, we got some adventures in hunting. We got quite a few new pops coming out. We got one Blu-ray that came out this week.
Yep.
Hell yeah. And through the wall news, we got some new information on Twilight Zone Season 1 and Shazam. And we also got a reaction from Chris Evans reacting to the first hour of Endgame. So, yay.
Yeah, the world is not ready for this.
Nope. In this week's sneak peeks, we got 3 trailers to talk about. We got the Angry Birds 2 trailer. We got Dora the Explorer and the Lost City of Gold.
Key winner of the week. Come on.
And we also got Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And then for our main event of the evening, we are... Actually, I'm going to be
this is
hosting
all
this
you,
one.
bro.
Yeah. Going to be handling a Ms. Marvel Dreamcast. So it's gonna be fun.
Yes.
Hopefully, I'm hoping this is good because I've been spending like all freaking week writing this.
He literally spent the time that you would on like a school paper on this, so I'm impressed.
Yeah, So it was originally supposed to be an outline, like just kind of go over like notes, and then I just started writing.
Turn into a whole damn script.
Yeah, turning like.
Close.
I'm not even done yet, and I have like at least like 3 pages worth of shit.
Damn, dude. Holy shit. I'm excited to hear it.
But I'm like super close. Anyway. So, before we get into that, let's move on, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, first off, in Adventures in Hunting, we got some new pops that are coming out. We got a Carnage that's going to be coming out, and that's is that an exclusive? Or?
Yeah, I just don't know where it's an exclusive to. There's like a red sticker on it, which is I know that like really doesn't help. But I want to say it said a CC exclusive.
CC.
Yeah, I don't
What the
know.
hell is CC?
I don't know. I guess like a new exclusive brand. Where is it? Oh, AAA exclusive.
AAA. So you gotta be like super old to do this or to get this one?
Oh wait. I don't know. So it says Marvel Spider Carnage AAA anime exclusive pop, and it's available for pre-order at a couple sites including Arconia, Dragons Trading, and BBTS.
I don't know what the hell
I don't
those
know.
are.
I don't either.
But the figure looks freaking badass.
Oh yeah, it looks really badass.
Not one that I see myself picking up.
I don't either. I don't really need this.
But I do appreciate how cool it looks.
I do too.
We also got news of what the next Marvel Collector Core box is going to be, and shocker, it's Avengers Endgame.
I legit thought it was going to be Far From Home.
I know.
I want a Mysterio.
I want a Mysterio. Like, no kidding. Like, we were joking, now we're not. I friggin' want Mysterio.
What if with the Collector Core box, it's a plot twist, and it's all of the Black Order because they come back.
Oh my gosh, I would friggin' throw it out.
You're an asshole.
I'd be so mad.
Dissing on the Maw.
Hell yeah.
What do you got?
Moss sucks.
What do you got against him? Corvius.
They're little bitches.
Proxima. Cole. What?
They all died like bitches.
Not really.
Okay, Proxima had a cool death. Corvus kind of shitty death. Cole Obsidian got his ass whooped by a weakling. And Ebony Maw was full on bitch mode.
Yeah, I hate how they killed off the Maw. Oh, that pisses me off still.
Yeah. So, I know what I hope it is, and I'm praying that it's a Hulk, but my honest guess is I'm thinking it's gonna be like a Hawkeye.
Really?
I'm honestly thinking that. I think he's gotten so much shit over the past little while with Infinity War that they're gonna hook him up.
Yeah, but he's getting already his new suit and then like a quantum realm suit, so I don't know what else he can do with a Hawkeye.
I know. I don't know what else.
The only thing I can think of that they haven't done of yet is his original Avengers suit, because they done the one for Age of Ultron and Civil War.
I don't know if they would do that for Endgame.
Oh, I know they wouldn't, but that's like the only thing that I can think of, like paying homage to Hawkeye. So as much as I love Hawkeye, you know I do. He's my favorite superhero. I don't see them doing Hawkeye for this. I see something to do with Thanos and maybe like Iron Man.
I hope not. I'm probably going to get a movie moment with Iron Man and Thanos.
That'd be cool.
It would be really cool.
Thanos.
No, I want a movie moment of Hulk and Thanos, and Hulk just wrecking.
See, it's just like Thanos' blood coming out of his mouth after Hulk punches him. Caleb would literally cry at how beautiful that is.
Oh, you have no idea, dude. Yeah, so that's coming out. The next thing we got is a Game of Thrones AT&T exclusive figure.
Yeah. Okay, so
it's the Night King.
Night King.
Night King.
I have no idea who that is.
It's the main bad guy that we haven't really seen at all. We've only seen a couple times.
Is he cool?
He's pretty cool.
Okay. Is he worth an AT&T exclusive, though?
Not worth an AT&T exclusive.
Well, damn it.
I mean, it is metallic, so I guess that's pretty cool.
What about a Verizon or Sprint exclusive? Maybe T-Mobile?
I'm thinking maybe Sprint.
Okay. Not Boost or Virgin Mobile?
Okay, now that I think about it, he's more Virgin Mobile.
All right.
Or Boost, whichever one's lower on the
Hey, I have Boost Mobile, so can we go with Virgin Mobile?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can go Virgin Mobile.
Thank you.
It's a cool looking figure.
It is.
It has the metallic overlay on top of it, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't see people really going after this.
I think
this is AT&T being like, "Can we get one?"
Yeah, I feel people will still go after this, and the reason why is because of that exclusive sticker. And I'm sure it's going to go fast, and people are going to be selling them for a shit ton of money.
You have a point there.
Yeah, let's face it.
The next figure that we got is Wonder Woman, and it's Amazonia.
Yeah,
or Amazonian.
I think that's what it is.
It's a really weird looking figure.
It is, but it does look cool.
It does look really cool. It's just the hair's funky. It doesn't look like it belongs.
It doesn't.
Wait, let me see her again. This kind of looks... I was going to say this looks like her from one of the DC animated movies, but it doesn't. And I don't know what the hell Amazonia is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Odd.
I don't plan on picking this one up. I'm sorry.
I don't either. I kind of want to see it in person.
Yeah, I do too.
But I don't plan on buying it. And then the last one we got is Avengers Endgame figures are starting to show up in Hallmark.
Yeah. So we thought it was just Nebula, but we actually saw a couple, about 20 minutes before we hit the record button, a guy on the Utah Funko Fanatics page on Facebook post that he found the entire set at the Orem Hallmark. And yeah. It's insane.
Oh, they're so cool.
They are.
I want that Hulk.
I want that
so
Hawkeye.
bad.
I want that Hawkeye.
We need to go hunting soon.
Yes, we really do.
Yeah, so that covers all of the pop figures, unless you got anything else to add.
No, I do not.
Moving on to Blu-rays. Aquaman came out this week.
Yes, I still have not picked it up. Caleb
so if it was the normal 30, would you pick it up?
In store, yeah. Well, okay, so
it's really a difference of like $3.
Dude, that's a lot to spend on just like, I know it's an exclusive, but to spend $33 on a Blu-ray exclusive and it's not 4K, I'm sorry, that's a lot of money.
Okay. I thought it was the 4K.
No, if it was the 4K, I'd be all up on that. That's a good deal. But no, it's just the regular Blu-ray. The 4K one is $37, I believe. But I'm just gonna get the regular Blu-ray one because I have all the other movies in 4K, and I don't have 4K yet, so I don't feel the need to buy Aquaman in 4K.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe like when I actually get a 4K, I'll just buy it on 4K, just the regular copy.
Right.
But yeah, it's weird because online the regular Blu-ray digibook of Aquaman at Target is $30, but if you go in store, it's $33. It's weird. So, I mean, yeah, I can just price match it in store, but I'm probably just going to order it online. I think it's easier. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that covers our adventures in hunting. Moving on to our Through the Wall news. Twilight Zone Season 1 got certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's at 90% right now with 20-something reviews.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So is this a show that's going to be on like network television?
Yeah, I think it's on CBS, I believe.
CBS?
Yeah.
It's not on that All Access thing, is it?
It probably is.
That's bullshit. That's so dumb.
Why? Well, isn't CBS All Access? Isn't that like all the shows that they have on regular
Well,
CBS?
it's their streaming service, but like they've only had like a couple shows on there.
I mean, they might not have it on there. It might just be on just the regular channel for a while. I don't know.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to
Otherwise,
check
it's
this out.
freaking dumb.
I mean, honestly, after seeing Us, I will see anything that Jordan Peele comes out with.
I thought he was just hosting it.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe, okay, let me phrase that. Anything that he is in or that he makes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
He's definitely taken to the horror route.
Yeah. And I don't blame him because he's very good at it.
Yeah. I haven't seen Us yet. You have.
I have.
And you might talk me into seeing this horror movie in theaters.
Because it's not really scary. It's not really like a lot of like jump scares. It's more like intense, like, I don't know, like just like where you think, just like thinking of where it can go. I don't know, like you're kind of like on the edge of your seat a little bit.
Like kind of blood curdling horror.
Yeah, a little bit.
I freaking love shit like that. So
like I was
down.
telling Caleb, a lot of people hated where the third act went. I actually liked where Peele took it. So, like I think it's at like a 95% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think that's well deserved.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
But we'll see how well it does when we break it down after Shazam.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, Shazam is next on our, isn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
Sure is. We kind of had that little segue.
Yeah.
So Shazam also got certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, let me see what that is certified fresh at, because it's pretty damn high.
Yeah, they should have some audience scores since they did have that early viewing from Fandango.
That's true. So let's read a couple of those. So it is at a 93% right now.
93. Damn.
Yeah, the critics' consensus says an effortlessly entertaining blend of humor and heart. Shazam is a superhero movie that never forgets the genre's real power, joyous wish fulfillment.
Okay.
I
can dig this.
Let's see. Some critics. This heartfelt origin story is more than the sum of its immense charm and Spielbergian attention to detail.
Ooh.
Captures the original comics combination of breezy heroism and nutty plotting transferred from the 1940s to the modern era with great skill.
1940s?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
This just got infinitely more interesting.
Yeah, right? Buoyant and unpretentious, Shazam aims low and mostly succeeds. A kid-friendly caper powered with enough energy to keep its target audience engaged, with a fun central conceit. I think I said that right. Conceit that plays like a cross between Big and Superman.
I freaking love Big.
Oh, I love
and
Big too.
I freaking love Superman. So I'm 100% down with this.
Then I'll just read two more. Welcome antidote to the usual brooding DC fare. an upbeat superhero movie that feels young at heart.
That's freaking got to get that dig in DC,
Yeah,
huh?
of course. Shazam is just a lightning bolt of unexpected joy that is certainly worth your time and money. All right.
Well, I was already super excited to see this, but now
I'm officially
really intrigued.
I'm really on board.
Yeah, I like how we kind of get that dig in at DC in that second to last one.
It's kind
I
of
freaking
cool.
love that because it's true. I think they're starting to realize that they need to be a little bit more like Marvel.
Yeah.
Like not so much that it's like the same thing, but just enough. I think they can make it like realistic and edgy without being like you need to turn your brightness up to watch this movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
I do too.
I'm excited to see it now.
Yeah.
Okay, and then our last bit of news is Chris Evans reacting. It was actually in a magazine interview. I don't remember the magazine.
Damn it, Caleb.
I know. I'm super shitty at remembering that stuff.
You are.
But he reacts to the first hour of Endgame, and he says that there are 3 times that he started to choke up. And I'm just, shit. Like, shit.
Maybe I really should bring a pack of tissues to this.
Dude, I've been prepping my bladder. I probably should be prepping my heart.
Yeah, right?
Because we also got the
official runtime.
Yeah, the runtime is
3 hours and 2 minutes.
Ooh, that is
Those
going
2 minutes
to
are
be
crucial.
rough.
Yeah.
That is going
This
to be
is why
real
I don't
rough.
drink anything at the movie theater. But still, that sometimes doesn't go my way, and I still have to pee really bad. For some reason, I hate my bladder.
So I've actually been in training. I didn't know how long this movie was going to be.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be in like the 3-4 hour range, 3 to 4, and so I've been prepping like it's a 4-hour movie just to get a little over prepared.
Smart.
And I'm actually doing like really solid right now. I'm at 2 hours 45 minutes. I can hold it. So
Dang.
I only got like 15 minutes and some change.
Yep.
Oof. Yeah, it gets pretty rough around that 2 hour 45 minute mark. And that's me constantly drinking throughout the day too.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So I usually prep with water.
Okay.
For a while, and then a couple weeks before I start drinking about like the same thing that I'm going to drink at the movie theater.
Okay.
Which is usually like lemonade or Powerade or whatever, whichever theater we go to.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I start prepping with that because I don't know why, because I have different reaction times with different fluids.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, that covers our through the wall news.
Well, you didn't. Oh wait, no, you did say what he said. Sorry.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought you didn't. I'm losing my mind. I'm
Got
sorry.
anything else to add?
No, I'm just not going to be ready for this.
Neither am I. All right. Moving on to this week's sneak peeks, we got 3 trailers that we're going to talk about. The first one, Angry Birds 2. The sequel that we did not think we were ever going to get.
Nor did we really even need, because the first movie was not that successful.
Yeah. The movie wasn't that good.
I didn't mind the first Angry Birds.
Like, don't get me wrong, it was fun.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I feel like with the idea, I think they did the best that they could. But nowhere when the movie ended did I say, oh, this movie needs a sequel. We need to see the birds and pigs working together.
yeah.
Exactly
this was more of
what we
like,
need to
okay,
see.
this was fun.
Yeah.
Never going to watch this again, but this was fun.
I've actually watched it a couple times after it came out. What?
Why?
I don't know. I kind of enjoy it.
Why?
I don't know. I like the Angry Birds movie. It's not awful, but it's not good. It's just all right.
I've lost like a whole lot of respect for you. Of all the bad movies, like I would have been even a little less upset if you would have said that you watched the Emoji Movie. That's not true.
I was gonna say,
is a
like,
blatant
really?
lie. That is a blatant
yeah,
lie.
I was gonna be like, whoa, dude, those are on completely different levels of bad.
Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm gonna
Bitch.
shut up now.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, so this one is an alright trailer. They did reuse footage, which is a huge no-no in my book.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing like flashback stuff like Endgame's doing, that's fine.
Well, wasn't it kind of flashback? Flashback to when he was a kid.
Not really. The way that he was just like we need the recap that everyone hated him.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Like this, like with what Endgame did, this is 10 years, 11 in the making.
Yes.
So yeah, you need to cut back to the first movies because it's
Yeah.
been freaking years.
Yeah.
Angry Birds didn't need to.
No.
It's like, yeah, everyone hated me. Yeah, we know. We hated you too.
Didn't you hear Sony's making a cinematic universe? The emojis are gonna meet up with the Angry Birds, and it's just gonna be a big thing.
If that was true, there would be a Marvel, or there would be an executive at Sony that would blow their brains out. Oh shit, that would be so bad.
I mean, it's definitely better than the first trailer. I'll give him that, because the first trailer I could barely even finish. It was that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit it is nice seeing a red Chuck and a bomb back, but that's about the only positive I got.
Yeah.
Because I actually like those three characters.
This was just like a compilation of really big actors, like Jason Sudeikis, Bill Hader,
Yep, Josh Gad, Danny McBride,
Tiffany Haddish,
yep,
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, who does Peter Dinklage play again?
He's the eagle.
Oh, he's Mighty Eagle? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. I forgot. Shows you how much I remember the first one, even though I don't mind that movie.
Yeah, like this is just a huge, just like celebrities getting together, and not super excited for it.
I'm not either. I'll probably check it out on a $5 Tuesday just to see probably how bad it is.
I'm probably gonna wait until I can.
Till I buy it.
Yeah, if you buy it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If not, I can wait till it streams.
Fair.
The next one that we got is Dora the Explorer and the Lost City of Gold.
Stop the presses. This is my most anticipated movie of 2019. Screw Avengers Endgame. This is the shit right here.
Oh. This is... So I watched it first.
Yeah, there is like a funny story behind this trailer.
So the first time I watched this trailer, it was after I went to bed around 4 a.m.
What the hell were you up so late?
So I couldn't sleep. So I was up that late, or early technically, and then I woke up for work around 8. And so I was on 4 hours of sleep, freaking just dying.
Yeah.
Saw this trailer, and I was just like, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like I told Rose, I'm like, it's nothing great, but it's fine. And he's like, you need sleep, and you need to watch this again. So that night, after I completely crashed, woke up the next morning, went through my workday, came home, and watched it again. And I regretted everything that I said. So, if you view this as a not Dora the Explorer, it looks like it could be an interesting movie. Somewhat.
I don't even know if I would go there.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Like some things need to be like removed, but it would look like a very interesting on its own movie. But seeing that it's Dora, this is like Dora meets Tomb Raider, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't. Dora as a teenager does not work.
Yeah. And not even that. When did she become like clumsy?
Yeah, exactly.
She's not clumsy. She's an educator.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she got some, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Where am I? Okay, actually, you take back over this. Let me think about where I wanted to go with my point.
Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't work in live action. It doesn't work with her being a teenager. Diego is suddenly like some city boy.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
No.
Oh, okay, this is what I want to say. I'm sure she took on some mental problems when she had a lot of people not answering her back.
Not answering her back.
Get it? Remember? Because in the TV show, yeah.
That would be freaking great to see.
That would be funny.
Where she's just like, where's this place? And then some dude's just like, it's over there. Like, can't you see? Oh, just turn around, Dora. And she's like, there it is. If we don't get some nod like that.
The only thing that I will see this movie for is that Benicio del Toro is playing Swiper the Fox.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That's the only reason I will see it.
Is he an actual... Oh, my hell. That's incredible.
So, wait. So, it doesn't show who's playing Boots. Does that mean that Boots doesn't talk?
Unless...
That's
dumb.
No, Boots has to talk.
It didn't even look like... Was he...
No, it didn't even
boots?
look like... No, it did not look like Boots.
Stupid. So dumb.
I mean, hell, Rufus, you could tell he was a CGI character, like, damn, but at least he actually looked like the cartoon character.
Yeah, that Boots is, like, super tiny.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. I will see it even more now. Danny Trejo is playing the voice of Boots.
Are you shitting me?
Dead serious?
Oh, this is opening night shit, dude. This is totally opening night shit. Oh my gosh. I take back everything I said. I am infinitely more excited for this movie.
Just because of those two voices, they made this movie.
Oh my hell. Oh, that's going to be so cool.
That is gonna be... You can tell I feel Michael Peña's like really trying in this movie to like make it somewhat good. He's the only
I
other
wonder if the
person I'll see it
director is
for.
just like, okay, you don't have to try so hard, dude. Like, this is Dora.
Yeah, right? It's a Nickelodeon movie. Let's take it down a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Shit, this might actually be number 1 on my list now.
Dude, I think it might too.
This is good. If this movie, I'm not going to the movie because it looks interesting. I'm going it for comedic value only.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm just picturing Trejo's voice coming out of Boots.
I know.
It's so weird.
And Boots is so tiny.
Whoever decided on casting, bravo.
You
Voice
deserve a raise.
Yes. Very much so.
Oh my gosh. The last trailer that we're going to talk about is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
And this
I
one's...
somewhat remember reading these as a kid. I remember I had the book. The pictures scared the shit out of me.
Did they?
Uh-huh.
I don't remember these stories at all.
Don't? Okay.
So I don't remember reading them. I don't even remember like hearing about them.
I don't remember the stories a lot. I remember the pictures. Maybe we'll have to like try to find like a copy in the wild when we're out hunting or something, and I'll show you.
Like Nightmare Fuel?
Yeah, kind of. A little bit. Like how I was able to sleep after reading one of these is beyond me.
You had a Chucky doll.
This is true. This is very true. But I'm interested. I don't really get like a full like, oh, I have to see this movie from this trailer.
Yeah, it looked more like, oh, this looks like it could be cool.
Yeah.
If I got nothing else going on, maybe.
I mean,
not for me.
No.
Like I'm waiting until I can watch this on a really small screen.
Yeah. Like with Goosebumps, after even the first trailer, I actually like really wanted to see it. I was on board. But with this one, I'm kind of just like, so
not on board either way.
No. I mean, who did it say that has a part in it or has a hand in it? Wasn't it Guillermo del Toro?
Guillermo, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll see it for that. Because I'm interested to see him taking... Because I'm assuming this is for kids, because it was a children's book.
If you think this is for kids, you are sadly mistaken.
Okay, hopefully it's a PG-13 thing then.
It's Guillermo del Toro, dude.
Oh, yeah, okay, good point. But just because of that, I am actually interested in it.
I have
little
to see
bit.
a little bit more. Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit less with the last scene.
Oh, that was... Apparently, I didn't know Caleb cannot handle zits.
No, like, I can't handle the big-ass ones.
Oh, okay.
So, the reason I have such a hard time with this is because, A, they're gross.
This is
and
true.
B, Brielle was watching Dr. Pimple Popper when we were on... when we were together on a weekend watching it on TV, and it like the thought of it makes me want to
The way
gag.
he freaked out though at the end of this trailer, I was dying laughing. It was so funny,
dude, and it was before any of the scary shit.
Yeah, right.
But she was just going to like pop it, and I
Yeah.
was like, nope, can't do it. And then the scary shit came out, like where it started to move, and like that little hair or whatever thing popped out.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Nope, can't do it. Cannot do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta stop talking about it.
Okay, but
1 out of 3.
you know what? I'm gonna actually, for number one, I'm gonna have to go with the Angry Birds movie too.
Are you wait for 3?
No, for one.
For 1?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You made bad decisions. Okay.
Wow.
What's after that?
I'm basing this just off trailers, not like voice acting. Number 2 will be Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and then 3 would be Dora. Yeah.
So I'm a little opposite. My number 1, because of voice acting, is Dora.
All right.
Because the thought of Danny Trejo's voice coming out of tiny little boots brings my soul so much freaking joy. So that's number 1.
All right, fair.
Number 2 is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Okay.
Even though that's probably going to be a movie that I can't watch.
It through. Yeah, you're not going to be able to make it through that.
Yeah, like
if I'm remembering the books
jump scare.
Yeah. If I'm remembering the books correctly, yeah, you're not going to be able to make it through this movie.
Yeah. And then number 3 is Angry Birds 2.
Bitch.
It's a close number 3.
Okay.
If that makes you feel better.
Okay.
So yeah. Got anything else to add?
I don't. No, I do not.
All right. Well, let's say we get into the Ms. Marvel Dreamcast.
Let's do it.
Time for the main event. Let's play game.
Okay, for our main event of the evening, this is something I've been working on.
Yeah, take it away,
So it's going to
Caleb.
be mainly me. I'm going to break it up into little sections so we can talk about it.
Okay.
See like what improvements we can come up with.
Okay.
But yeah. So I'm going to do a Dreamcast of the superhero Ms. Marvel. Just a quick little explanation of her. She is the first and I think the only Muslim superhero that Marvel has. She's 16 years old. She is an Inhuman, and like that's why she has powers. And her abilities are a little funky. So she can grow really big, and she can shrink. Not like Ant-Man small, but just like tiny.
Okay.
So maybe like the size of a small toy.
Okay.
She can make her fists grow different sizes. So it's kind of like Mr. Fantastic, but she just makes her she can change how her body is. Like with
So she doesn't have elasticity.
So she can stretch if she wants, but it's more like it's more like if she were to make her like with her stretching,
Yeah.
and I'm putting that in quotes. It's like she can make her fist really big and then punch really far away, and then just like kind of like think Stretch Armstrong.
Okay.
So that toy where it
Yeah.
so his body stretches and he can only stretch a certain distance,
Uh-huh.
and then it's like if you grab it by his wrist, his hand is still that size, so it's kind of like that.
Okay.
So she still has bones and everything. It's just they act a little different. Mr. Fantastic, his ability is he can stretch any part of his body.
Yeah.
So he's more like I'm trying to think of something else, but he doesn't have bones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like his ability, he doesn't have bones, and he can like form constructs with his body. Ms. Marvel, she still has to have her body shape.
Okay.
So it's just manipulating like a humanoid figure. With Mr. Fantastic, he can morph his body.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about her. So I have the way that we're going to do this from now on is a cast of people, like what their role is and who we cast in that role. I put a list of things that need to happen for this movie to work.
Okay.
And then just an overall story. And this started out as an outline, turned into a full-blown screenplay. So, yeah. And then, like I said, I'm not even completely done with it, but I know where it's going to go, so I can continue on.
Okay.
So the first one or person, so I'm going to have Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, her dad, Yusuf Khan, her mother, Maniba Khan, her brother, Amir Khan, her best friend, or one of her best friends, Nakia, also goes by Kiki, Bahadir, one of her white friends. I don't know what else how to explain him. Her other best friend, Bruno Corelli. Bruno's older brother, Vic Corelli. Then I'm going to have Captain Marvel, or Carol Danvers, in it, and Wolverine. And like I said, so the things that need to happen for this movie to work is X-Men need to be introduced, and there needs to be a new Wolverine.
As much as it pains you to say.
Yes, as much as it pains me to say. And number 2, I feel like there's only 2 things. So X-Men needs to be introduced. There needs to be a new Wolverine. So whoever's the new Wolverine in the MCU needs to fill this spot.
Okay.
But I filled it with who I thought would make a decent Wolverine. So I cast Jai Courtney, who is Captain Boomerang from Suicide Squad. He was also in the Divergent series. I think he'd make a pretty decent.
I think so too.
Like, he has the build for it.
Yeah,
he's freaking like thick.
And I feel he hasn't had his time to shine yet, so I think this would be a very good role for him to be able to do that.
Yeah, and he also, like, we know he can pull off mutton chops.
This is true. It's very true.
Yeah, but like I said, just fill that Wolverine slot with whoever they cast as the new Wolverine in the MCU. I'd be fine if, like, this would work if it was X-23 or if it was Logan. Doesn't really matter. It just needs to be Wolverine.
Okay.
And they need to go by Wolverine.
Okay.
Captain Marvel, obviously, I kept as Brie Larson.
Thank goodness.
Vic Corelli, Bruno's older brother, I cast Dylan Minnette, or Minette, however you pronounce that. I think
it's Dylan Monet.
Minnette?
Yeah.
From 13 Reasons Why.
Clay
Bruno
himself.
Corelli. What?
Sorry, I was Clay himself. Sorry. That's his name in 13 Reasons
Clay?
Why. Yep, in 13
Yeah.
Reasons Why.
And then Bruno Corelli, I cast Uriah Shelton. He was also in 13 Reasons Why, but you apparently don't recognize him.
He was probably from the first season. I don't remember the first season a lot.
Yeah. Her best friend, Nakia Bahadir, I cast Alaya. I'm going to butcher these names. Alaya Bahat.
Bahat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bhatt.
It's a cool name.
I don't know what she's from, so I just put some student of the year.
Is there nothing on our IMDb page?
No, so that's what she's from.
Oh.
It's
Student of the Year?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
the
actually
only
thought
thing-
that was like something that she got in school.
she's just not from anything that I personally recognize.
Okay.
So I just picked something
Just
I was like,
random.
yeah.
Okay.
For her brother Amir Khan, I cast, funny enough, Akib Khan.
What?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
That
but
is
he's
very cool.
my issue with him, he's a little too good looking. He's from a movie called West is West.
The power of makeup, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm going based off of a comic book.
Okay.
So, I mean, he could be good looking. I don't know. Not my type, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he's from a movie called West is West. For Kamala's mother, Muniba Khan, I cast Noreen Zaim, and she was in Wedding Crashers.
Actually, never seen that movie.
I have, but it's been a while. I think she fits well as the wife of who I chose to be Yusuf Khan, her father.
Yeah.
And I chose Kumail Nanjiani.
Which I think is a very good casting choice. Even though I don't know the character, I just love that guy.
Yeah. He's from The Big Sick. Probably not most famously, but it's one of his.
Yeah.
It's a really freaking good movie.
It's probably his most standout role.
Yeah.
Face it.
And then finally, for Ms. Marvel herself, I cast Geraldine Viswanathan.
Viswanathan?
Viswanathan. Viswanathan.
I like it.
And
That's actually a really cool last name.
yeah, so I didn't want. I was going to cast someone. I think she's Indian, and I was going to cast someone like a Pakistani in her role, but a lot of the people that I looked at have like really thick accents, and I wanted someone who doesn't have one because Kamala, I'm going to say Kamala. Kamala is raised in Jersey.
Okay.
So she doesn't really have an accent.
Okay.
Her brother, I think, should, and her mother and father definitely should. But you'd probably recognize her. She played John Cena's daughter in Blockers. Great movie, by the way. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I still need to watch it.
It's freaking hilarious, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's Indian, but she has the look that I'm going for.
Okay.
The issue that I came across is that this movie couldn't be made for a while. Like, this would be at the soonest, like, if this was like starting right now,
Yeah.
3 years after,
Endgame?
like, from now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3 years from now. So
Okay.
2022.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's when I think this movie would fit best, and I think at that time she might look too old.
Oh.
But I think everyone else would fit really well. Maybe Uriah Shelton wouldn't, and Aliyah Bat, who played Nakia and Bruno, her friends. So those ones are kind of up in the air. But Yeah, Kamala needs to be someone that does not have an accent. Is the only thing for me.
Okay.
So, getting into the story, I'm just going to start reading my shit,
Okay.
and then I'll pause whenever, or you can just cut in whenever.
Okay.
So, the story starts with a young Kamala, kindergarten age, watching TV in her living room and seeing footage of the Avengers in some sort of documentary, while in the background we see her family unpacking boxes like they just moved into the new house. She should have a couple toys, some of them maybe being one of them being a Captain Marvel doll. Her mom tells her to shut the TV off and help. She does. Then later in the evening, a knock at the door. Yusuf, her father, answers the door. Kamala sneaks a peek and sees another Muslim family at the door, introducing themselves as the Bahadirs. They get welcomed in, and her father calls for the family to come and meet the neighbors. He introduces Muniba, then Amir, shares his age, then introduces Kamala, again shares her age. Then the father says, "Oh, our daughter is the same age," and then introduction to Nakia happens, and the rest of the family gets introduced too. They're casting whatever. They're not going to be in it that much. Then they get invited in to sit and talk, and Muniba invites Kamala to go play with Nakia in her room. They go up. Kamala starts to show Nakia her toys that are mostly superheroes, and Nakia is like super disinterested, couldn't really care less.
Sad.
Yeah, like it's just not her thing.
She a Barbie doll kind of girl?
For this to work, for what I want her to do later on,
Yeah.
yes.
Really? Oh.
More of a Barbie girl.
Okay.
Kamala is not a huge fan of that or her. Then they cut to the first day of kindergarten. They both get dropped off at the school. Their mothers take them in, and they start getting asked a lot of questions about what their mothers were wearing, because I'm imagining them wearing very traditional stuff, not like burqa cover the face stuff,
I get
but
you.
just they have a headdress called a hijab, which it's like they wear a dress and then they have like a scarf that covers their head.
Okay.
So that's what I'm imagining them wearing.
Okay.
Then they start getting asked a lot of questions about that. Then they slowly begin to bond over the fact that they are different in some way. I don't want any rudeness towards them.
So it's no bullying at all?
No bullying.
Okay.
Like, this is an anti-bullying movie.
Okay. They're just interested. They're just
they're
asking
like they're
questions.
just asking questions, and it's kind of like they don't want to answer,
Okay.
and they're just like uncomfortable.
All right.
Yeah. So, then I say that they both meet a young Bruno Corelli who sees Kamala wearing a Captain America shirt, and they become friends, like bond over that and whatever, and then cut to 11 years from then. So they'd be 16.
Okay.
So
I
because
can
I'm
count, I swear.
imagining kindergarten age is 5.
Yeah, it's about 5.
Okay. So anything from that you got notes on?
No, not so far. I'm actually when it comes to like Avengers, like old footage being or like news footage shown on the TV, like were you thinking like from the events in New York or what happened in Age of Ultron? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna say like just because it's like probably the most famous thing, New York.
Okay.
Maybe just like a mix of everything.
Okay.
And whatever's realistic with Endgame or Infinity War,
Yeah.
because there wasn't
You really can't
whole
show
lot of
anything
stuff.
from Endgame.
or Infinity War.
Oh, sorry, not Endgame. I meant Infinity War. Sorry, we haven't even seen Endgame yet.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Age of Ultron and New York.
Okay.
So Just stuff that would be believable for them to have captured footage of.
Okay.
And they're just a documentary of the Avengers.
All right.
Okay, moving on. Now 16, Kamala wakes up to an alarm. Maybe some superhero theme, I'm thinking.
Yes. The
Yeah.
Avengers theme?
Maybe.
Okay. I can't really think of any others right now.
I can't think of like something that'd be like realistic for her to like have.
I get you.
So she gets up, gets ready, and is out the door and meets Nakia. Nakia is like at this age is starting to embrace her religion a little bit more. So she starts wearing the headdress.
Oh, cool.
Like the hijab
Okay.
thing. It's more like the scarf. Like I said, because she's becoming a more religious person. So they walk towards their school, but stop at a corner store and meet up with Bruno, who works there. He states that the person taking over his shift is running late, so they wait on that. They BS a little bit. Something that from the comic that I read that I friggin' loved is Kamala doesn't eat like I think it's beef or something. Like I think that's the Muslim thing. It might be pork. One of the two meats. I'm pretty sure it's pork, but she smells it because it smells freaking good, and she calls it the infidel meats. Like that's a joke that she makes in the comics, and I freaking loved it. So I'm keeping that.
Okay.
So Bruno's coworker gets there. Bruno leaves with Kamala and Nakia. They get to school on time, rushed, but they're on time. Because I think I'm really sick of the whole, like, alarm goes off and then they're, like, racing to school. Like, I'm late.
Yeah, it's been done way too many times.
Yeah, so I'm mixing it up a little bit where she wakes up and she's on time.
Yeah, but it's Bruno's fault that she's almost late.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, they're rushed, but it's not, like
they barely, make it into class right when the bell rings. So
not even that rushed. They
okay.
They're walking in and then they're, like, it's just, I don't know. So more like, you're planning on leaving a certain time.
Yeah.
To get somewhere at a specific time, and you think you give yourself that much time, but then there's, like, something that holds you up for, like, another minute or two. So you're not really late. You're just rushing a little bit.
All right. I get you.
Yeah, so they're rushed, but they're on time. They get to school, and there's talks of a party that's going on a beach. I don't know how New Jersey's set up. I'm assuming there's a beach.
Okay.
The three get invited. Bruno accepts. Nakia declines, and Kamala expresses interest, but ultimately refuses because her parents would not approve of it if they knew there were boys and alcohol there. Then they say that alcohol isn't there, but she still has to refuse because boys. Cut to his science class where they are supposed to be working on projects for a science fair. But Kamala isn't paying too much attention and is drawing, and she has like a lightning bolt looking logo. So I'm saying that she's drawing that.
Okay.
On her paper. Meanwhile, Bruno, who's I'm making more of a science nerd, is working on his project in the back. Kamala takes a look at it and asks what it's supposed to be. He says that he is working on trying to replicate Spider-Man's webbing, and adds an ingredient that turns his project into more of a slimy goop. He exclaims, and she asks what went wrong. He says that what was supposed to be webbing turned into like this goop. He pours it out on the desk, and it stretches down to touch the tabletop, then kind of snaps out of the beaker like weird jello. And something that's important for this, the goop needs to be solid looking.
Okay.
So you know how jello looks kind of wet?
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be dry.
Okay.
Or it needs to look like visually dry.
Okay.
And it needs to look almost like a fabric. So kind of like if Spider-Man were to like his webbing doesn't look wet; it looks dry, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if he were to spin a web, like a sheet,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
kind of like that, but it's like clumped. Yeah. So next part, do you have any notes on?
No, dude, I'm
That-
loving this so far.
Okay.
Well, wait, sorry, I have one. What state are you wanting this to take place in?
Jersey.
Jersey. Okay. All right. Good choice.
Yeah, I don't know if New Jersey's part of New York or if Jersey's its own state, but
I
it
do
needs to
not
be in
know.
Jersey.
Okay, Jersey. I'm assuming does that play a significant role in the comics?
It's where she's from,
Oh, duh. I'm smart.
and it's not like super significant. Like this could really take place anywhere that has large amounts of water, but I'm thinking Jersey because all the main superheroes are either in New York or in California, like the big places.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
no, I
like
like
no one's
that.
paying attention to New Jersey.
Yeah, I like this.
Okay, cut to the end of school. They start to walk home together, but Bruno's brother Vic drives up and picks up Bruno, offers to give Kamala and Nakia a ride. They refuse. Maybe not refuse. They decline.
Okay.
I think decline's just a nicer
It
way of
is.
saying
It,
no.
it definitely is.
So as they're walking, they pass and approach the cool girl, the tall, blonde, popular girl, and she stops her conversation to ask Kamala and Nakia if they are planning on going to that party that night. Nakia says no, but Kamala says that she wants to but couldn't go because her parents would say no. Cool Girl says that that's a bummer, but tells her where the party is going to be and the time. They continue on home and part ways when they pass Kamala's home. She goes inside, greeted by her parents. Her brother is in the middle of like a prayer in the middle of the room.
Okay.
Her parents ask how school was. She says fine. She goes up to her room to do homework. Later that night during dinner, nervous, she asks her parents if it's okay if she were to attend the party. They ask her about it and realize boys will be there and tell her no. Like, this is just real basic. I feel like there should be more explanation of to why they're saying no. But I don't know a whole ton. I wasn't able to do a whole lot of research on
Good.
the Muslim religion. So this is like something that it needs to be like a religious reason why
Okay.
she can't.
Okay.
She gets upset because she isn't allowed to do things like other kids do. She has to be different. She says that she wishes she was different than the way she is now and goes to her room. In her room, superhero posters everywhere, and she starts playing an online game and hears her parents going to bed. They wish her a good night, tell her not to stay up super late, shut her door, and quiet. She plays her game a little longer, and her character in the game has to be stealthy and sneaks into a building. I'm not sure what game she'd be playing, but I think it'd be important that she's playing a game where she needs to be stealthy.
Okay.
She looks up from her computer, leans back in her chair, and looks out her window, and there's a tree just outside her window that she could easily climb down and up, and she thinks about it a second and begins to get dressed and sneaks out of the house. Oh yeah,
Oh,
shit's getting real.
Okay, so what time? Okay, so how long does this party go till?
I'm thinking like early morning till like 2 or 3.
Is it a school
But
night?
she's not going to be at the party the entire time.
Is it a school night though? Is this on a Friday?
I'm thinking Friday.
Okay, all right.
I think that'd make the most sense.
Yeah. So what time do you think she's sneaking out then?
Actually, I think I lied. I think it's going to be a school night
Okay.
for the rest of everything to make sure.
Okay. So then, what time do you think like the party should end, and what time do you think she should get there?
So I'm thinking that her parents start to go to bed around 10:30,
Okay.
and she sneaks out around 11.
And then the party ends at like what, midnight, 1 o'clock?
Yeah, like she's not there the entire time. She's
Okay.
only there for a little while, and then she's like, "This is a bad idea," and leaves.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is a really good question. I think the party could actually work on a weekend, like a Friday. And then, like, I think you would just have to adjust some things to make it so, like, with her, I think, actually, that would actually be really cool. So, yeah, I'm going to say Friday.
Okay.
So, she goes to the party where some of the people there are surprised to see her. One of the cool jocks welcomes her and hands her a drink. She asks if there's alcohol in it, and he says no, says it's just orange juice. She takes a sip.
Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit.
So she takes a sip, spits it out. She gives him a dirty look. He looks at her like super confused and sniffs the other drink in his hand, panics a little, and swaps her cups.
Okay, that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, right?
Good
didn't
joke
mean
right
to.
there.
She puts her new cup down and starts to look around. She's grabbed by someone and she panics and turns around, ready to throw hands, but it's just Bruno.
Oh.
Bruno says he wasn't expecting to see her. She says, "I'm here." He asks if her parents said it was okay, but she doesn't answer because she's distracted by the jocks doing something crazy. I don't know what. I've never been invited to a party.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, so I don't know what
Maybe like they're doing
would
like
do.
what's like the like with the funnel and the hose, they're doing like the beer chug thing.
Sure.
Okay, that's
Like,
all
that
I can
seems
think.
reasonable.
And I'm only getting that from movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here in Utah, you never kind of got those kind of parties, so
Yeah.
I never really got to experience them.
So they hang out for a while until Kamala realizes it's really late. I'm thinking maybe midnight, 12:30.
Okay.
She leaves the party and begins to walk home. While she's walking home, a mist starts to fall from the sky. She looks up and the mist covers her. She begins to faint and collapses on a street corner. She wakes up in a bright, non-environment area. And what I mean by non-environment is like she wakes up and it's just like white ground, white background. Not like no buildings, no trees, no nothing.
Oh, okay.
So she stands up and looks around, and she hears a voice from above. She looks up to see Captain Marvel flying down to meet her. Kamala asks Carol what this place is. Carol says that she's beginning to evolve and to prepare herself for powers beyond her own comprehension. Kamala says she doesn't deserve powers. She's not what a hero should be. Carol looks at her and asks what should heroes be. Kamala struggles to find the words and finally says, "You. If I'm to be a hero, I want to be you. You're what an ideal hero is." Carol smiles and the light begins to glow brighter and brighter. Carol fades from view and the brightness begins to crack. And then, like, I think it'd be cool for her to be like standing there, brightness, and then you like when the brightness starts to crack, then you see like her hand pushes out to make the crack larger and larger. Cut out, and you cut to a rocky looking cocoon on the street corner that she was just at, because that's what the Inhuman Terrigen Mist does. Anyone who has Inhuman DNA gets kind of covered in this rocky cocoon, and then they evolve. And
so that's how she gets her powers, is from the mist.
Yeah.
Okay, but where's the mist coming from?
So I'm leaving that as a mystery for a majority of the movie, because like in the comic that she doesn't know what the mist is.
Oh, okay.
Like
Just
no
comes
one
out of
knows what
nowhere?
the mist is, huh?
It just comes out of nowhere?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it falls from the sky. So this is why I said that the Inhumans need to have some mention.
Okay.
But I feel like this could also work as the introduction to Inhumans. Depending.
That would be a cool intro. I have to admit.
Yeah, where it's just kind of like this mysterious mist, and then you find out later what the mist was.
Okay.
So you cut to her cocoon on the street corner. The light hides the figure that's coming out of it. The light exposes Kamala, but she looks like Carol Danvers. She doesn't know this. She studies the cocoon and decides she needs to get home. She begins to walk until she hears noises coming from the marina. She peeks around the corner to see the cool girl again and her boyfriend walking on the dock. They are stumbling because of the alcohol. He stumbles over a rope and begins to fall, but instead ends up knocking cool girl off the dock. Her boyfriend goes to save her, but falls into the marina himself. Kamala, still looking like Carol Danvers, runs to the dock and reaches for the pair. She keeps a hold of a post as she reaches. The couple are both panicking. Kamala reaches out her hand, yelling for them to swim closer. She's startled by her own voice, but she kind of ignores it. As she reaches out her hand begins to grow and stretch, grabbing both of the couple in one hand. She lifts them up out of the water and places them on the dock. The soaked boyfriend checks on Cool Girl and turns to thank Kamala and says, "Thank you, Captain," or something along those lines. Kamala is just like, asked him to repeat himself because she's confused, like looking at her hand.
Yeah.
And he says, "I was just thanking you, Miss Captain Marvel." Kamala, dumbfounded, says that she isn't Captain Marvel. The boyfriend, even more confused. There's a lot of confusion in this movie.
Okay.
Then says, "Then who are you?" Kamala, confused as hell, looks at her hands. They are a lot whiter than the last time she saw them.
I was wondering when she was going to catch on to that.
Yep. She runs to the water and looks down and sees the face of her greatest hero looking back at her. She stands up straight and just runs away. As she's running, her legs begin to stretch. Because, like, when that's something that she does when she's going from rooftop to rooftop, she stretches her legs out really far. So I'm thinking while she's running, they just start to extend, and then she trips on her own feet. She tries not to panic as her legs begin to come back to their original length. She stands up to confirm that her legs are normal again. She finds an open park and walks carefully to an opening and begins to test out her ability. She reaches out her hand and stretches her fingers out. Nothing. She thinks about how her hand grew. She says, "Stretch." Like, just testing different things. See what works. She begins to talk to herself, like pacing. She walks through everything that happened. And once she gets to the part about her hand, she says that her hands began to embiggen. And while she talks, her hands begin to grow. Or her hand begins to grow. She opens her eyes and sees her hands, and she screams, like, "Shrink, go back to normal, ah!" And her hand returns to its normal size. She shakes her hand, and nothing. She closes her eyes again, puts her finger out, opens one eye, and says, "Embiggen." And her finger slowly begins to grow. She I'm not sure how, maybe like balloon or just like inflate or something like that.
Okay.
Just it begins to get bigger. Just lost my spot. Okay, yeah, her finger begins to grow. She opens up the rest of her hand as her entire hand starts to grow. She stops it, then closes her eyes and looks back at it, and it slowly begins to shrink back down to normal size. She deduces that she can embiggen her body and stretch it out. From the end of the park, she begins to hear a crowd walking past. She yelps a little bit and tries to hide before anyone sees her. She goes to hide behind a bush, but is too big to hide behind this bush. She stays behind the bush, but mumbles to herself about being too big, and her entire body begins to slowly shrink. Soon, she's standing completely upright behind the bush. The crowd goes past, and she walks out from behind the bush, analyzing her new height. She deduces that she can manipulate her entire body to change size. She clenches her eyes again and says, "Embiggen." Her body stretches out to her normal height again. As she's doing this, she sees a clock nearby and panics at the time. I'm thinking 2. Just, it's been a while.
Okay.
Yeah, she comes through she runs home. This is all while she still looks like Carol.
Okay, I was actually just going to ask that.
Yeah. So she climbs up the tree to her room, climbs through the window, and trips, making a loud noise. Noise starts coming from her parents' room as she hears them to start come towards her room. She panics and says quietly, "I need to look like me." And she's like super like clenched up or whatever, and the door opens and she yells, "I can explain." Her father, standing there still tired from being like startled from the yelling, and says, "Okay." And Kamala looks down and she's back to looking like herself. Silence as her father and her stare at each other. He stops waiting for an exclamation and he scolds her for still being up, playing her game, tells her to go to bed, and leaves. Like, I'm putting the father in a lot of like funny situations,
Okay.
so that's kind of why I wanted someone who knew humor well.
Yeah, and he really does.
Yeah. The door shuts and Kamala breathes heavy and lies down on the bed. And she stays up all night practicing her new powers. She grows her fists, stretches across the room, makes her legs change sizes, and even practices her shape-shifting. She learns to control everything. And I think this is what, like, I was thinking like an overnight thing. But I think this would also work. I think it would work better if she had like a weekend.
Yes, I agree.
So
this is how she spends her weekend. Okay.
yeah, so she's just spending her weekend doing this. The next morning, like really early morning, as she's practicing her powers, her stomach starts rumbling like hard. She goes downstairs before anyone in her family is up and opens the fridge. She grabs the first thing she can just dig into without preparation. Leftovers, snacks, whatever. And she starts chowing down, eating everything in sight. Her father comes down to see her in her ravenous state, and he rips some food away from her and makes comments about how much she ate. She leaves the house still earlier than she usually does and begins walking. She's still hungry and decides to try and grab food at the corner store. She walks up to the store but hears yelling. She sneaks up to the store window and looks in. She sees Bruno at the register with a ski-masked assailant supposedly holding the store up at gunpoint. She panics at first, but realizes that she can use her abilities to save the day. She sneaks around the back of the store where there is another entrance for employees. She pulls out a mirror and changes appearance to look like Captain Marvel. She breathes. Yeah, so with her changing her appearance, I don't know how I want this to happen, because with her shrinking,
Yeah.
I want her to like shrink, but I don't want her clothes to shrink with her.
Okay.
Not yet.
So, like, with the shape-shifting thing, she doesn't get the powers of the one that she's shape-shifting into, does she?
No.
Okay, all right. Just want to clarify that.
Yeah, so that's why it's kind of like weird I think the boyfriend should make comments about like her stretching powers. And
Yeah.
being like, I've never seen you do that.
Okay.
Or something like that. And yeah, so like when she shrinks, I don't want her to be like super tiny. I want her just to be smaller than she is and have like look like has really oversized clothing.
Okay.
And then when she grows back, then she like grabs her
Okay,
stuff.
so like, are we thinking maybe, you remember like an Ant-Man and the Wasp when Scott shrinks down to the point where he...
That size? That
Okay.
size.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it needs to be like a bush that like a small child could hide behind, but not like a teenager.
Okay, got it.
So it's kind of like you need to trim this freaking bush to be like perfect. Yeah, so she changes her appearance to look like Captain Marvel, and she she breathes heavy to go inside, but she stops because she realizes that she's still wearing her usual jacket, like just a jacket that people recognize.
Okay.
Yeah, she's wearing her jacket. She removes the jacket and to show her wearing a Captain Marvel shirt. She gains a bit of confidence by looking at the shirt and pounds open the door, like full on, just like breaking shit. Yeah, she goes straight for the robber after making a bit of a clumsy superhero introduction. And as she moves towards the robber, Bruno tries getting in between her and the robber, but Kamala, still looking like Carol, moves him out of the way and continues to advance towards the robber. The robber gets startled and fires a shot directly into Kamala's stomach. And I think that with the gun, that it's something that he sees her and then he gets the gun prepped, like cocks it back or whatever.
Okay.
Like safety off all the good shit. She falls to the ground. Bruno comes towards her, propping her up, yelling at the robber. He pulls off the mask to reveal Vic, his older brother. With a crazy panicked look on his face, Bruno yells at him, angry, with Kamala in his arms. She still looks like Carol. Sirens begin to sound, like from a really far distance. Vic begs him not to rat him out. Bruno tells him to get out, and Vic runs away. The sirens get closer as Bruno tries to calm down Captain Marvel, as she begins to transform back into Kamala. Bruno starts to freak out even more, but Kamala jumps back up, seemingly fine. So when she's using her ability, like she also has a healing factor.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't work if she's using her power.
Interesting.
So it's like she needs to choose between her healing and using her ability. Yeah, right?
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, she gets up, seemingly fine. Bruno asks her quickly what's going on, what happened, and other things like that, while losing his mind. She begins to kind of explain when all of a sudden the sirens get even louder. They both panic, and she tries to transform back into Captain Marvel. But as she starts to transform, her wounds start to open again, and she bends over in pain. She goes back to Kamala and panics because the cops are almost there, until Bruno, thinking quickly, grabs her an ice mask from the ground. She slips it on and grabs her jacket and puts a hood over her head to hide as much as possible. The cops come in to assess the situation, and Kamala stands there in the most cheesy stance she can pull off. The cops ask her what happened. Bruno cuts in and explains everything, that he was getting robbed until she came in. They ask him if they got a description, and they both say they didn't after sharing kind of a glance. They ask her who she is, and she says Marvel. They're like, Captain Marvel, and she looks at her shirt and she's just like, or like they're like Captain Marvel, and she's like, exactly. And so they say, so you're also Captain Marvel? She pauses and she's like, no, I'm Ms. Marvel. Because I feel like she's nerdy enough to try and come up with a superhero name herself. So they kind of pause. They're just like, okay, whatever. And begin to tell Bruno that they need to look into this attempted robbery more, and will need to look at the security camera footage.
Shit.
So Bruno agrees hesitant. I'm freaking smart with this one, dude. Like, I'm freaking proud of this moment. So Bruno agrees hesitantly and goes to the TV and rewinds it to the point before the robbery. They see Vic come in the front door and approach the register and point his weapon at Bruno. And this is like safety off, not cocked, nothing.
Okay.
So he's not in any real danger.
Yeah.
But you don't see Vic's face, you just see the mask.
Okay.
They see Bruno and Vic arguing, and then they see Kamala pound into the store, and the camera falls to the floor. And the cops turn around and look at Kamala, and who goes back to, like, she's, like, watching over their shoulders. They turn around, and she goes back to her cheesy pose. And then that's kind of like the end of the footage. There's no audio, so they don't hear the gunshot.
Okay.
And the cops finish their report and leave. So,
Okay.
that's kind of like the last thing that I had. Not the last thing. The last, or that's the end of this little section. So, any
Okay.
notes? Any
No, not
questions?
so far. No, dude, this is gold. I'm loving this. But I just can't picture Clay robbing a store. That's a new one for me.
I think this would be a good challenge for him.
It would. It definitely would.
Okay, so moving on. After the cops leave, Kamala removes her disguise, and Bruno starts to freak out again and starts asking her all these questions about her new abilities when Nakia walks in. Seeing the mess, she asks what happened, and Bruno freaks out and screams, "Kamala has powers!" And Kamala
blow it,
slaps
dude.
him, and Nakia asks him to explain. Kamala, upset with Bruno, drags her in the shop and locks the door and gives her the lowdown of her abilities.
Okay.
Nakia laughs at her until Kamala makes her fist start to grow. Nakia freaks out. Kamala tells her that she can't tell anyone, and she eventually reluctantly agrees. So this is something that I changed from the comics, because in the comics, Nakia doesn't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, she
So
doesn't
in the
know
comics, is
about...
Bruno the only one that knows at first?
Yeah, Bruno's the only one that knows.
Oh, okay.
So, I made it so Nakia knows
Okay.
as well, because I feel what she does later, what helps. And it wouldn't make sense for Bruno to do it on his own.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, she agrees, and then Bruno's co-worker comes to the door and tries to open the door. Obviously, it's locked. Bruno runs to unlock it and lets him in. He freaks out over the state of the store. Bruno explains what happened with the attempted robbery. The co-worker looks at the back door and asks if the robber threw a grenade in the store. He apologizes for being late, and then they all realize that they are late for school. Because I think this is like Monday
Oh, okay.
that this should happen, but I can't. Gosh damn it. I don't know. What do you think? Because if we changed it so she has the ability, like, she works on her powers over the weekend.
Yeah.
Why that wouldn't make sense for her to just now start getting hungry?
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's why I was saying that maybe that, like, weekday, and then she just practices her powers overnight.
Well, I mean, if you're still wanting it to take place on a weekend, could they be late for something else besides school? I'm just trying to think of what else, though.
Maybe church?
Okay, so yeah, okay, could be happening on a Sunday.
I don't know if they go to church on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Something to look into.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Bruno's not Muslim.
Oh, yeah.
It's just... Okay, maybe this is like Kamala and Nakia leave.
Okay.
Okay. So they go to their church, do their thing, and then that Monday, they meet up at the store again, kind of fixed up, and then the guy is running late again. They run to school, but this time they are late, and they go to class.
Do they get detention?
No.
Oh.
Later in that science class, Kamala and Bruno start talking quietly about her powers a bit. And since they are both nerds about it, Bruno asks if she has a super suit. She points out that she has to disguise herself as Captain Marvel, and even worse, had to wear an ice mask and a hood to disguise herself. He says that she needs to come up with one and says that he'll draw some stuff up. Cut to after school, she's in her room drawing out her logo and gets an idea. She jumps into her closet and starts digging around and pulls out an old burkini, which is just like a really modest swimsuit
Oh, okay.
that Muslims wear. That's
Okay.
like what her suit is based off of.
Okay, I want to look this up really quickly because I want to get a good pic of this.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. So it's burkini, Burkini. Some of them have like the full face coverage, but there are some that it's just like if she were wearing a long sleeve shirt with a skirt on it and like leggings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking hers looks like.
So kind of like that.
Exactly like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so yeah, she finds it up and cuts up a really cheap looking mask out of an old shirt. And oh wait. I kind of jumped ahead. I put burkini in here twice. Okay,
Whoops.
she finds and pulls out an old burkini. She puts it on, and her dad walks in on her, which not a big deal. It's a super modest thing. And she panics and screams because she's thinking super suit. And he yells that slams the door, yells that dinner's ready. And she changes, and they're eating dinner. Her family hears news of homeless people, mostly teens, that are being reported missing recently. Kamala's mother starts to talk about how dangerous this neighborhood is, while her father disagrees. And then the news starts talking about the officers working on this case. He starts to talk about the goodness of people that choose to protect others as their life mission. And Kamala takes that kind of to heart when, during that night, she puts on that burkini again, cuts up a really cheap-looking mask out of an old shirt, and sneaks out of the house. Like, really late.
Okay.
She goes into the main part of town and waits for crime. Nothing happens all night until she gets a call from Bruno. He asks her what she's doing, and she says she's on patrol. He tells her that Vic didn't come home that night and that something didn't seem right with him that day. He tells her that when he was trying to rob the store, that he seemed nervous about something, and that he talked to one of his brother's friends, and they mentioned him going to hang out at a cabin in the middle of the woods recently. She asks for a location. Cut to the cabin. She sees two guards outside and causes a distraction on the other side of a field. The guards, distracted, go to investigate the noise, while Kamala sneaks in to investigate herself. She peeks through the window and sees no one there. She opens the window and stretches inside and shuts the window again. The guards return, so she hides from view and looks around the cabin. Nothing upstairs, so she begins to head downstairs to like a basement. She sneaks downstairs to an empty room with a big electrical box inside of it. Frustrated, she throws her hands down, thinking that this was a complete waste of time. She starts back up the stairs when she hears voices. She panics what to do when she spots a sewer cap on the ground. So, and this is like the point that I got to, and yeah.
Okay.
Like, this is the end of my writing, so now I'm just like, I know where this is going.
Okay.
I just haven't typed it up.
Yeah.
So, she spots a sewer cap on the ground, pulls it off, and jumps down inside the sewer, and is like hiding as these people are coming down. She hears a couple people like asking questions, like throwing this dude around and whatever, and it's Vic. And they're asking like where their money is or something, and they're like, hey, he's trying to explain why he doesn't have it. then I want this big bad to come down. And in the comics, he's kind of like a bird person. Like kind of a weird, like funky looking dude.
Okay.
And it's not like a mask. He's like an actual bird.
Okay.
Yeah, and I kind of want to keep it along those lines, where he's like, but I want it to be like a bird mask.
Okay, I was gonna say, 'cause that might be hard to transfer from paper to screen.
Yeah, so he's asking for the money and all this, and he's like, I got stopped by this freaking crazy ass chick that looked like Captain Marvel, but it wasn't Captain Marvel. It was someone that could stretch. He doesn't know it's Kamala.
Okay.
And the dude's just like, okay, that's interesting. And then they leave. Like, they drag him along and they're like, show me. And so, they start heading out. So, the guards are still there. So, she tries to find a way out through the sewer. So, she climbs all the way down and starts walking. And with going through the sewer and everything, and as she's getting towards like the exit of the sewer, I want her to run into Wolverine. Like, I want her, like, and he's like sniffing around and whatever, and he like goes at her because he doesn't know who she is, and like they kind of have like a fighting moment. She freaking geeks out because it's Wolverine.
I would too.
Yeah, so she geeks out and is just like, oh my gosh, I freaking love you. And he's just like, okay.
Can you just imagine? You're just like, I'm getting the shit kicked out of me by Wolverine.
Yeah, so she's like avoiding him, like
okay.
like moving out of the way and whatever.
Yeah.
And she's still in her bikini, and so she's doing her crazy like stretching stuff. But I want it to show how uncomfortable her suit looks, or is, because it doesn't stretch with her.
Yeah.
When she shrinks, it stays the same size. When she grows, it stays the same size.
Okay.
So it's like if she stretches out her arm, it like stays in the same place.
Okay.
Yeah, and like this will make sense later.
So no, I just want to. So like, say like, you know, like my sleeve is like this. If I like stretch my arm, like my sleeve would start to do like that. Like it doesn't stretch with it. Is that what you're saying? Okay, all right. Sorry, I just want to make sure.
So it's kind of like a normal shirt. If you overstretch, it's just
okay. I just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
that happens. So this is like happening all throughout her ordeal with Wolverine. She starts to explain what's going on. She's like, like I was looking into my friend. He tried robbing his brother this morning, or whenever it happened.
Yeah.
And Wolverine's just like, okay, well, I'm investigating these missing children, or he's investigating a missing mutant.
Ooh.
Yeah. So she's like, she wants to leave, or she's like going towards like she's going to leave, and he's walking further back into the sewer. And
is he wearing his comic accurate suit?
I want him to.
Okay.
Really, like, I'm cool if he doesn't wear the cowl.
Okay.
I want him to wear like the suit.
I do. Yeah. He has to. I mean,
like
come
the
on.
blue gloves, the freaking yellow armored suit.
Yes.
Like all that shit. Like I'm cool without the mask. Just make the suit happen.
Agreed.
Yeah. So he's walking in. She starts to walk out, but then it's just like, when am I ever going to freaking be able to do this again? Turns around and asks if she can help. He's just like, okay. And so they start going through. I think in the comics it does it a little bit better, but he likes her. Not in like a weird way. He just kind of like, okay, I like this kid.
Okay. So is that
she's
kind of like a mentor kind of thing, or like brother sister kind of thing, or
kind of like a mentor kind of
Okay.
thing. Like, just I think that she should put up one hell of a fight against him,
yeah,
and then she's just like a freaking sweetheart,
okay,
and then he's just like, okay, I freaking love this kid.
okay, all right.
Kind of like the Thor Captain Marvel.
I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
So they start investigating together, and he asks if like was anything weird in the cabin, and she says there was like nothing. It was like completely empty. The only thing was downstairs there was an electrical box, and he's like, can't like show me. So they travel back through the cabin, and he rips open the electrical box, or he opens up like the door to it, and in there is an electrical mutant, like girl. Yeah. And he doesn't want to disconnect her because he's afraid that it will kill her. So they travel back through the sewer to get out. And while that's happening, they make like a wrong turn or something. But water starts coming out and flooding the place, and then they get like shoved out of the sewer. But Kamala has enough time to like grab onto the top of the sewer before they go flying, and it's like a really steep drop. She grabs the sewer, grabs Wolverine, and then they're just kind of like hanging there, and then she's like really stretched out.
Okay.
And he tells her to drop him, and she's just like, what? Like, because it's a crazy height. And he's just like, listen, like, I'll be fine. Just drop me. A fall you're expecting is a lot better than one you're not. Drops down, like, drops down safe. And then she drops down, but she grows small a little bit. So when she, not like super small, but she grows a little smaller, falls, and Wolverine catches her. Because she doesn't know how to like gracefully land like he does.
Yeah.
And so he kind of just like catches her.
Okay.
And then starts asking like about her abilities, like what is it? And she's like, well, I can grow, I can shrink, and I can grow my limbs out. Like, just tries to explain it a little bit. And so he tells her, or asks her if she's a mutant, and she's just like, I don't, like, mutants are born with their powers, right? And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, I don't know if I am or not. And then tells him about the mist. And then this is where I think we should get a little bit of like Inhuman exposition.
Okay.
If it's not previously brought up in the MCU. So this is where he should be telling her, like, okay, like, there's a different group of people that have abilities. They're Inhumans. Like, they live, because I think what would make most sense, because they live on the moon in the comics, but they also live on this like meteor that's just kind of going around Earth. So I think he could explain that something's dropped it, like their Terrigen mist was gotten free, or something happened where it was just Terrigen mist, and then it just unlocked her Inhuman gene.
Okay.
So she goes on this like little thing with Wolverine. I don't think Wolverine should be in it too much.
We're talking like Tony Stark level in Spider-Man Homecoming, or like of how much he was in it? Because wasn't he like in it for like 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's about what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I think he should help teach her some stuff about like fighting
Yeah.
and just like different things. And when she's like shrinking, he sees like her suit doesn't really fit, and he's like, "You probably need a better suit." And like that's like his sign off. He goes off and says, "You need a better suit," and leaves.
So thanks for the help.
Yeah. Then the next. So from there, like, so the rest of it is them doing like this investigation on these kids.
Okay.
So that's like the main focus. They're like after the introduction to her powers and whatnot.
Yeah.
She's focusing on these kids, and she's fighting crime in her swimsuit. And I think something that should happen is that she starts to talk about how uncomfortable her suit is.
Okay.
And tells Nakia that her suit is super uncomfortable. And then Bruno runs up, tells her, like, "Hey, I designed a suit for you, and I found with that goop that he can lay it out and make like a fabric with it." And so Nakia is just like, "I can work with that," and then like designs, like builds her suit or like sews it up.
Okay.
Because she's more girly than Kamala. She sews up her suit, like the way that I want it to, like, because I don't want it to be like Play-Doh, where it's like where he messed, like, you know how he messed up and it was just the shape of the beaker.
Yeah.
So I want him to be like make up most of the formula, like just before he added that one ingredient and it turned into that weird goop. Okay. So I want him to, like, when they're playing with it or whatever, that it stretches but always snaps back to what it originally was like. And it can be cut and whatever. So Nakia and Bruno kind of team up, and he makes like a sheet of this fabric, and she dyes it to match her bikini, but makes like a really small suit for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she, like, to how she, like, the smallest that she can get, which is like maybe maybe like the size of a monitor, makes the suit look that size.
Okay.
And then she shrinks down, slips it on, and then grows, and then it grows with her.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of how the thing could work a little bit. So it's constantly changing the size. And then she puts on the logo, then mask, and everything else. And that's about where I'm at with this.
Okay.
So, like I said, the main focus should be her trying to fight or find these missing kids.
Yeah.
And so, like, one thing that they did focus on a lot in this is that they were doing a project on the effects of, like, what millennials go through, and that why millennials feel like why they aren't included in stuff, and why people are blaming everything that's going wrong with the country on them. And they're like, this is just the world that we're inheriting. Or, like, that's Kamala's view on it. This is just the world we're inheriting. Like, we're trying to be the best that we can, but the world's a lot different than what our parents and their parents went through.
I completely agree with her.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
This is why I freaking love her.
Yeah.
So she's going through this. So she's talking about that, and then that's kind of what the situation. She's trying to free these kids.
Yeah.
But they're because the Birdman is kind of using their energy, he's kind of using their bodies as batteries to power stuff.
That's disturbing to think about.
Yeah, it is disturbing. And when she frees them, they're upset with her.
Okay.
Yeah. They're upset with her because of the same thing. That they feel like our parents the older generation is ruining this world. We have no place with them. Like, the only thing that's going to matter down the line because they're like, it's going to be overpopulated. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. We're making a change by joining this Birdman and putting our bodies to good use instead of trying to save something that's broken.
That's so interesting to think about.
Yeah. So I think it should focus on her trying to save these kids that don't want to be saved and giving them hope of the future that they can change. Because he's saying, or like some of these kids are saying like, hey, I'm really good at doing this. And she's like, this is the job that you could do. Like, if this is something you're good at, this is something you can do, instead of turning a blind eye and turning yourself into a battery.
Yeah.
Like, you can be useful to society. And then they're eventually like, okay.
Well, at least they finally came around.
Yeah. It's so yeah, and then the main fight should be with the Birdman.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think he has any powers.
But still, it'd be cool to see how she uses her elasticity on him.
Yeah.
I admit, that would be really cool.
Maybe he has like some suits or something.
Yeah.
That's a little too Iron Man-y. Yeah. I don't want a typical like brawl for her final thing. So
I feel it wouldn't really fit into this kind of movie, the direction that you're taking it in.
Yeah. Like, I think that something that would be really interesting is when she's with Wolverine, if he were to give her a lesson on when, like, because she's so new to this, that this is something that he needs to know, that he learned that sometimes calling in for backup isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
And maybe, like, she gets all these kids to leave this Birdman, and then the ones that don't, like, he's getting ready for a full-on brawl.
Okay.
And she is just like, I'm not doing this. Like, this is exactly what you want. You want me to fight you.
Yeah.
And I want, like, at some point, like, her to call the police and be like, these people are going to handle you a lot better than I could. Like, she calling him back up.
Damn.
Yeah. And then, like, he does something crazy and she uses her powers. Just to kind of show it off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, like throwing a grenade or something, and then she just kind of surrounds it in her hands. Because they deal with a lot of stuff. Like, with her transforming into Captain Marvel, realizing that her shape-shifting can do more harm than good, then she also struggles with the fact, like, I don't look like a superhero. I don't look like all these people. And then her just coming to terms that not everyone needs to look like Captain Marvel to be a superhero. So that's something that they should deal with. Then her also dealing with calling him back up when it's needed, that she doesn't have to do everything on her own. And then with the kids and the battery stuff. Yeah. So that's where I would leave it.
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude.
Any notes or anything that you think would be a cool ad?
Not anything really to add. I feel this would definitely be like a big gamble for Marvel. I mean, I know Captain Marvel could be considered that too, and Guardians of the Galaxy was their biggest gamble. But I feel with the way that she brought it up and just how like relatable, I think. Oh my gosh, what is her name again? I'm sorry. Kamala. I think just how relatable she is from the way you explain it, the way that you've written this story around her. I don't know. I think this would play really well to audiences.
I think it would too, and I think in this day and age, with everyone thinking that Muslims are terrorists,
you kind of need a movie like this.
Yeah. This would be a huge gamble, a huge one, but I feel the payoff would be freaking immaculate.
Oh yeah, it'd be tremendous.
Yeah, I'm almost going to like finish writing all this up and
Yeah.
just like send it to someone.
Dude, do it.
Just be like, yeah, this needs to happen.
Yeah.
Like ASA, please.
Say please. Oh, that's funny.
But it would be cool to see someone that looks up to people like the Avengers and like the practical gods to the normal person.
I mean, in
While
essence,
also
Spider-Man
dealing with-
kind of does that in the MCU. But,
a little bit,
yeah.
yeah. But he ends up being one of them.
True.
And so I think that would be someone that she looks up to. Because this, like I said, this would happen years.
Yeah.
So eventually, Spider-Man's just going to be like, oh yeah, the Avengers, woohoo. But
he becomes the Peter B. Parker.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can
exactly.
you imagine Tom Holland playing that?
Dude, that would be awesome.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, so something like that. And then her struggling that she doesn't look like a hero. And then when she's starting to accept that a little bit, then, like all this different stuff to lead up to her, like the finale of her, like, not using her fists to solve problems.
Yeah.
Like, and getting that lesson from Wolverine, saying like him telling her like, yeah, like fists don't solve every issue.
It's true, they don't.
And that would be something I feel could be a lot more meaningful coming from Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
But I understand why they can't do that.
Yes.
So another Wolverine would fit.
I feel Jai Courtney could pull off saying that.
I haven't seen him play heartfelt.
I haven't either.
So I think that would be a real test of his abilities.
It would.
But overall, I think this would be even a bigger gamble than Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah. Oh, hands down.
And a bigger cultural impact than Captain Marvel.
It's a bigger gamble than both Black Widow and Captain Marvel, I think. But like you said, be a huge payoff, a tremendous payoff.
Yeah. There's so many characters. Like, now that I've read Ms. Marvel, there are so many characters that I'm like, who else have I missed?
Yeah.
Like, I know Miles Morales' story. His is really cool. But Ms. Marvel was always kind of someone that was a character that I didn't really pay much mind to.
I wasn't introduced to her until Lego Marvel Superheroes 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wasn't I was introduced to her through Avengers Academy, the game that I have on my phone. It's now gone out of business, which is lame.
Sad.
Yeah, super sad. Like I put a shit ton of money into that game. I shouldn't have. I know. Don't judge me. But I did.
I mean, but you did accidentally buy a $40 saddle, so.
Okay, that was on a game.
I know, but still.
Yeah, so I put like a shit ton of effort, and the servers aren't even up for me to play it. It's freaking stupid.
That is very stupid. I have to admit.
Yeah, but anyway, that was my first introduction to her, and I was just kind of like, okay, like she was one of the first people that you unlock.
Yeah.
So I didn't really care because I was like, I want Hulk.
Of course you do.
Yeah. And so I was going through like Iron Man, Captain America, Wasp, like all these people I did know, and then there was just kind of Ms. Marvel in the back. And yeah, like I didn't really start noticing her until I started reading some the Spider-Man Deadpool
Oh, really?
Yeah, she wasn't like a big part in it, but she was just there, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to know a little bit about her. So then I started reading her thing, and I freaking am hooked. I love Ms. Marvel because she deals with so much. She deals with her family being like these really religious people that keep her from doing like one of the other things that I changed is when she comes back, or when she gets out of the cocoon and goes to her house.
Yeah.
So she does have that moment where her family comes in, and she has like I can explain, where she turns back into herself.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is Bruno called her family because he didn't realize that she snuck out. So he called, and then they realized that she's gone.
Gotcha.
And then they kind of deal with that, where they're like, "Oh my gosh, we raised a liar and this and that." Like, I think the books that I read, because I think there's 4 books in total that I read, and it all handled this little bird man person.
Okay.
Like, everyone calls him a cockatoo, and he's like, "I'm not a cockatoo."
It's a badass villain name, though. Come on.
Yeah, I think if you cut out a lot of the like the absolute crazy shit with like, because he has like robots that are powered by these children and whatever.
The shit? Okay.
Yeah. Like, if you cut a lot of that stuff out where he's testing her and shrink it down to something that could be done in like 2 hours, maybe 2.5 at most, I think you can squeeze down her entire origin into that. And then you just have to remove the Inhuman part. Like, because she gets introduced to the Inhuman royal family, like Medusa and Lockjaw.
I feel that's a little too much thrown to an origin movie.
Yeah. So, like, I think it should be with her struggling to turn into, or her struggling to realize that she doesn't need to look like Carol to be a superhero, to her kind of figuring out her place with her family now that her role's kind of changed, now that she's has powers.
Yeah.
And I think at the end, the first person to bring up that she has, or to know that she has powers in her family, is her brother. But I don't really think that would fit too well. Yeah. Like, because I think that's a lot of story to get into to kind of have that make sense.
Yeah.
So I would cut that out.
Okay.
And then she has a real, like, her mother is the first one to know. Like, and she just kind of knows. She's just like, I know you're this person. Or I know you're Ms. Marvel. And she's just like, what? And I feel like the whole mother-daughter, or the mother-daughter thing's kind of, it's not really something that's been overdone in the MCU, but I think it's just overdone. Like, we get the whole mother-daughter thing.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is.
But I feel that it should be her father that knows that she's Ms. Marvel.
I think that would be a cool spin on it. I have to admit.
Yeah. And maybe it doesn't bring it up until, like, the very end when she's questioning her decisions. And then he's just kind of, like, talks about
what I know.
Yeah, not like that blatant, obviously, but yeah. Like, that'd be amazing.
That would be really cool.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Very good Dreamcast.
I say all I got like it was only a short little thing.
No, that was a very good Dreamcast. Good job, man.
So,
damn.
Yeah, so that's my Dreamcast of the Ms. Marvel movie being introduced into the MCU. And I kind of want to send it to people.
Do it. Do it.
I'm super proud of this one.
Yeah, I would be too.
Anyway, you got anything else?
I don't.
Okay, then let's wrap this up.
Let's do it.
All right. If you like this episode and want to check out more, you can be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, and we are on Spotify. You can also check out our content on YouTube. New videos will be headed your way soon. We're working on one tomorrow, actually.
Yes.
You can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Allbros. Or we're on Twitter at The Allbros. If you have something you want us to discuss in the next episode, or a movie we should see, or anything, you can also email us at theallbroschannel@gmail.com, or you can fill out a form on our website, which is tinyurl.com/theallbros. And then that form gets sent to us, and then we read it off. And we hope to hear from you guys soon.
Yes.
Next week, we are going to be doing a Allbros breakdown of How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
Yeah.
Ooh, I almost said 3 again.
It's okay. That's literally what it should have been called, but whatever.
Yeah. So look forward to that next week. What do you think the question of the week should be? I know I didn't ask one this week. I meant to.
Yeah, you bitch.
But I didn't. So what should be the one for?
Okay, so
for
we
this
asked
one?
like which is your favorite dragon?
Yeah.
Right?
What's your favorite dragon?
I don't know. Should it be which is your favorite movie? Which is your favorite How to Train Your Dragon movie out of the 3?
That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our question of the week is going to be which of these 3 movies is your favorite, and why?
Yeah.
Give
It's
it
hard to
pretty
choose
decent.
considering all 3 of them are very, very good.
Have you seen the third one yet?
No, I'm gonna go see it this coming week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, until then, this has been the All Bros podcast. I'm once again Caleb,
And I am once again Jonathan.
and we'll catch you guys next week. Deuces.
Bye. I'm going deep here.
What the shit?
I don't know. What
I was expecting your normal goofiness, and then I get like,
nope. Going dark
how
here.
you doing?
Yeah, I'm going dark over here.